Hi, Yakov. Hi, Tessa.
Hey Tessa, how are you?
Oh, she's still connecting to audio. I have,
I'm gonna ask her to rename herself so we'll know who's.
yeah.
Oh, it looks like we
Good
have.
evening.
Good
This is
evening.
Tessa reporting for Public Safety Committee meeting scheduled for
Tessa,
tonight
thank
at
you.
7 p.m.
Tessa,
Hey,
thank you.
Tessa, it's Mia. How are you?
Hey, Mia. Good evening, Rabbi Berman.
Good evening, Tessa. Good evening, Mia. Good evening, NYPD.
Mia,
Yes.
I tried to call about an unrelated matter. Rabbi, I
Yes,
hope you
I
don't
heard,
mind.
and you're correct.
I am correct?
You are correct.
Okay, good.
I was just waiting to get some well, I found out that it was correct maybe about an hour and a half ago. So
Okay,
I'll be sending notice to the board.
very good.
Mia, can you make me a host?
Yes. Give me 2 seconds. Uh,
Oh, you made me ready, right?
Yes.
Sunati's in, all right, from the owner of Mendy's. I'm gonna need some help with who owns what establishments because
We can simply just ask, you know what a lot of other committee members, committee chairs have done is ask people to identify themselves in the chat, just so that when you guys circle back to do meeting minutes,
Yeah.
people are identified because sometimes the device that they're signed into is not the same as their given name.
it says I'm recording. I don't know that
No,
I'm.
the meeting is recording to Zoom,
It
to the
shows
cloud.
me too.
Hmm?
It shows that I'm also recording.
Yeah, it's gonna appear on your screen because you're a co-host, so you can
No,
see
no.
that.
Oh. So it's
Yeah.
not me.
No, not you, Yaakov.
Okay.
I believe the inspector is here.
Inspector, welcome.
How you doing?
Thank God.
Good evening.
And Mike, are you here as well? All right,
He's
but
trying.
who's NYPD, PV?
I'll be there in a second, Yaakov.
Yeah, but is this you, Mike, or somebody else? There's another
This is
NYPD.
This is the inspector. I'm going to call in myself.
No, I got it, but this,
It might be Sergeant Kelly.
okay, that's who it is. Great.
Yaakov, give me a second. I'm gonna run over to the Parks meeting and I'll be right back.
Wonderful. Well, we have Mia,
Yes, Yaakov.
maybe before you run over, we should stream it live. No,
I'm literally not running. I just have to use the other laptop for a second. Literally not running, but just give me a moment.
All right, we have.
I'll start streaming as soon as I get back. Just give me a moment. Thank you.
Of course. I see we have the owner of Mendy's here. Is anybody else here from any establishments that are applying for a liquor license?
Salem's Hour is here for the renewal of our liquor license.
For what establishments?
Salem's Hour, 1114 Nostrand.
I got you. Great.
Thank you.
We're going to be starting shortly. We Still have a few minutes till 7 o'clock.
Okay, I'm back, Yakov. I'm about to set up the live streaming. Okay, we're live, guys. Yakov?
Hello?
All right, great. We're ready to begin. Deputy Inspector, you there?
How you doing?
How are you? Great. Thank you so much. I want to welcome everybody, first of all, to the public safety meeting of Community Board 9. Tonight, we have an important meeting. We're going to open up with the new Deputy Inspector Commanding Officer of the 71st Precinct, is here tonight. We appreciate that, with Community Affairs Officer Mike Beretta. And after that, we're going to be reviewing some liquor licenses. We have one new license application, Mendy's on Eastern Parkway and Kingston Avenue. And we have several renewals. So I'm going to ask the Deputy Inspector, please introduce himself and greet the community. And we will give the community members a few minutes to ask some questions after the Deputy Inspector's greetings.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to welcome everyone to this meeting, and I'm so happy to be here working in Crown Heights in the 7-1 precinct. I've worked here a couple of times before as a sergeant. I used to work at the Martin Luther King concert series on Monday nights. I remember working a lot, and the parade I worked every year. So I'm so happy to be here, and I look forward to working with all you guys.
Thank you so much. I guess I'll ask the first question, and we'll open it up to the community. That's okay. So again, welcome. Thank you for coming here tonight. I know you're busy, and I know that there's a lot going on. We appreciate you taking the time and joining us.
Thank you.
In the last year, there's been several gang shootings in the neighborhood, and we've seen what appears to be a rise in crime. I don't know if it's related to COVID or in general. Is there any update or information on any of the last shootings, or have we found any of the perpetrators? And is there any strategy with the 71st Precinct to handle the what appears to be a rise in crime in the neighborhood?
Well, 2020, the precinct ended with actually a decline in major crime, but we did have a spike in shootings. So much like a lot of precincts in the city that saw an uptick in shootings. Since January 1st, we haven't had any issues of violence whatsoever. What we're seeing right now is a strong spike in stolen vehicles, mostly off of people leaving their cars running with the keys in it. I don't know if it's because of the snow, maybe people heating up their cars before getting in, but it's happening on a daily basis that we're getting cars stolen from the neighborhood of somebody jumping into their car and taking off. I think some instances because of COVID where DMV has been closed down for long periods of time and maybe has caused issues with people registering their cars. We see a big spike in these stolen or unregistered vehicles. The paper plates, you guys might see them out there. Some are real, some are not. We've seen an uptick in fraudulent documents as far as the cars driving around the neighborhood. As far as violence goes, we haven't seen it. So, I mean, when the weather starts getting warmer, it might change. We do have some concentrated posts on Hawthorne Street where I know we had an uptick in violence last year, but so far, knock on wood, everything's going good. I met with some of the community leaders came here, Carl Cohn, Richard Green, and we sat down, we spoke about a lot of issues, and everything seems to be going good.
Well, thank you, Inspector Hayward. I'm going to open the floor to the community. If anybody has any questions for the inspector, please raise your hand, and I will you could ask your questions. Why don't we start first with the committee members? I see there are some committee members here. Does any of the committee members have any questions for the inspector? Mr. Pearson? you have a question?
I do not.
Hi, yes,
Who is speaking now?
Rashida Sadiq.
Rashida is a public safety committee member and a community board 9 member. Please ask your question. You have the floor.
Hi, thank you for being here this afternoon. I recently saw a Brooklyner article regarding your, I guess, past history, and I just wanted to see how were you addressing some of the issues that were raised in that article, and how were you going to make sure that in this community, which has a large African-American population and other minorities, and how, I guess, how you're going to deal with the community going forward.
Rashida, if I may just comment, I know, and I'll let the inspector respond. I want to just, I also read the article, and I just want, media's allegations, and I think we all have to.
I know, but I asked the inspector, thank you,
Right,
Yakov.
but you asked it as a fact. I think we have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I said, I referenced the article and I did not ask it as a fact. So the deputy inspector can answer for himself, can't he? That's why you opened it up. We didn't ask it to
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Hi, Rashida.
Hi.
Listen, I have a 22-year career. After 22 years, you know, the article did have some negative comments in it, but like all police officers, that people can make complaints against us. And, you know, we have our day where we get to go and say, you know, our side of the story. The article was kind of written with not my side of the story. I was never asked for my opinion or my, you know, where any of these complaints might have came from. A lot of the complaints were dealt with when I was a new supervisor going into jobs where, you know, people were getting arrested. Sometimes people don't like getting arrested. Unfortunately, you know, officers do get complaints sometimes when people are getting handcuffed. And when you're a sergeant or when you're a lieutenant, you're the boss on the scene of that job. And it's not only sometimes it's not you wind up getting the complaint, but not necessarily that I did anything wrong. Just that's the way the article kind of read, but it wasn't all facts. There are other articles out there that are nicely written about me.
Thank you for answering yourself, and thank you for being here. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Rashida, for your question.
I have a question to
Tessa-
follow up.
Tessa is also a community board 9 member and a public safety member.
So Inspector, I also read the article and was quite frankly concerned about it. I wouldn't have raised it to you personally and publicly if Rashida didn't bring it up first. And although your answer was very simplistic, it did not really respond to her question about your understanding of Prospect Lefferts Gardens and the surrounding areas involved in Community Board 9, and what your thinking is or your rationale might be, or what you hope to accomplish in a community that's almost 65% people of color. And I need to hear an answer for that.
Well, I'm the commanding officer. This is my 3rd precinct. I was the commanding officer in the 60th precinct. Was very diverse, much like Crown Heights. Coney Island and Brighton Beach are very, very diverse, similar to the community that's here. I never had one complaint. So I think my strategy towards enforcement and targeting enforcement towards recidivism, where people in the community, you got maybe 5% of knuckleheads that might be committing most of the crime in the neighborhood. And that's where we're going to try to focus our enforcement. We're not going to blanket the whole neighborhood with enforcement just to check boxes. We're going to go after people that are really committing violent crimes and corners that are considered, you know, quality of life issues day to day that we get complaints from. We have to show enforcement in those areas. That's not anything wrong. I mean, you can't have zero enforcement by the police department. Areas that you guys bring to my attention that are getting complaints from, that's where we're going to focus. And if you guys are the community leaders, by all means, come here, come sit down with me and tell me what issues you have in the community, and we'll try to work together towards fixing them. I had very, very open conversations with several members of the community, and I thought a lot of positive conversations came out of it.
Thank you, Inspector.
No problem.
Is there anybody else from the committee?
Hi. Yeah, Yaakov. It's
Yeah.
Mike Barada,
Mike?
Officer Barada. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about the allegations and the CCRB complaints, how the system works. So often, especially when you're supervisor and you come up in the ranks, like when you get promoted to a sergeant must respond to every arrest situation that the police officers make. So the more supervision that you have, the more in touch you are in arrest situations. You're on scene, you have to approve the arrest, you have to verify the arrest, you have to sometimes you have to go as far as interviewing the perpetrator. So the more interaction, so basically what I'm trying to say is the more promotions you obtain, the more interactions you're going to have in arrest situations, where you're going to have maybe some people that are unhappy about the way things go. So, just because there's a complaint made, an allegation made, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was founded. Most of the complaints are unfounded.
Mike, you're cutting out?
Yaakov, could you hear me?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay. I don't know if you guys heard everything I said, but basically, long story short,
Most of the complaints are unfounded.
a supervisor is going to have more interactions in arrest situations than a day-to-day patrol cop. So, if there's 10 arrests made on the platoon that day, the supervisor is going to be at all 10 arrests, whereas a regular patrol cop would only be at the arrest situation that they're going to be at. So, that I just wanted people to understand that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any other questions, either from the committee or from the community? Thank you, Shlomi. All right, so Deputy Inspector, would you like any closing words?
I'm good. Whatever question. Does anybody have any questions about the community? About anything going on? Anybody have any issues? I know with the snow and everything, everybody's probably stuck inside all week.
You don't have anything to do with sanitation, but we haven't had garbage pickup for some time.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Well, we look forward to a positive relationship, and we know that 71st, Vinny, and before Mike, Vinny, and now Mike, we've for years we've worked together with the police department and the community, and I believe prevention is key. Yes, people that commit crimes, in many cases they have to be arrested, but our goal is to work with the youth and to prevent, to make sure we don't get to that point, and to hopefully prevent crime. And we look forward to working together and for the peace and unity of this neighborhood.
100%. And listen, if anybody in the community, we have a very good Explorer program here. We have very good YCOs. We want to get the youth involved. In Coney Island, we had a good softball game against the kids in the neighborhood, the cops versus the kids. I think that's something I'd like to keep going here. The kids, there's nothing better than trying to strike out a cop at home plate. So if we could get that going during the summer, it'd be nice.
All right, we look forward to it.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining.
All right, no problem. Take care.
We're going to move on. Let's start off with the new application. We have Nati from Mendes, and we also have his representative here. Or you were here before.
I'm here.
Steven, all right.
Riveting business going on. I'm paying attention.
So why don't you please take a moment, tell us a little bit about Mendes and what you'd like from the committee. I will put in the chat their application for a liquor license. So everybody has access to the information. All right, it's in the chat.
Nati, you want me to go?
Yeah, Go ahead.
Okay, so my name's Steven and I work with Nati, who's the owner of Mendy's at 792. Mendy's has been open there about 13 years. And Nati is looking for different ways to increase his sales. And with so many people around the neighborhood, we thought it would be a good idea to apply for a lesser, not a full liquor license, but just wine, beer, and cider. We feel we can control it very easily by, standard operating procedures of carding and just enforcing that you have to be of legal age. And, it's around, it's a good price point, and it'll help us with our sales and provide for the community. Not sure what more you'd like us to add or make a point of, but I think that sums it up.
Let me just bring the committee up to speed. This is a full liquor license, not a full, this is a new liquor license for for beer and cider.
Wine.
Wine, beer, and cider. Mendy's is located on Eastern Parkway in the museum, in the Jewish Children's Museum, in the basement. You may know them. They're also, I believe, in Grand. There's also one in Grand Central, or there used to be at least. How long have you been open for?
Well, Mendy's itself has been open since the late 80s. And the Mendy's in Crown Heights has been open for about 13 years, 13 and a half years, something like that.
So I'm going to ask
And the museum was built. We were the original tenant there. So there's been nobody else there, and we've successfully been able to maintain a presence in the community since the museum opened.
Thank you. So I have a question for Nati. I read your application. My only, I know your establishment. I've eaten there many times. My only concern and question is, how do you plan to ensure that students from nearby institutions do not have access to the wine and beer?
We're gonna make sure, I'm sorry, I lost my voice a little bit. We're gonna make sure that we're gonna ask for ID from everyone who's purchased there. Any kind of wine and beer, of course.
Thank you.
Sure.
Are there any other questions from the committee?
Rashida here.
Rashida, all yours.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you're going to ask for ID, but are you going to have some system? Because I remember when I was a teenager and you get an ID, are you going to have some other measures other than just asking for an ID?
I'm sure I can see if if somebody looks too young and is asked for wine or beer, I'm sure I can, I'm pretty sharp with that.
Are you going to be there? Are you going to be there every single day during the times that it's open and personally asking? Or do you have somebody else?
I'm personally running the place from the morning till very late night. Very, very, I'm there every day. Of course, I'm not gonna be there 100% of the time, but I will have a person, a mature person, that I'm sure he will know to tell the difference.
Rashida, I just wanted to add, just like Mendy's is going to be offering this, just like restaurants and bars, anybody can walk in anywhere with a fake ID, and just like in a restaurant or bar, if they're, capable of. So, Mendy's wouldn't be any different than any other establishment that serves alcohol. When someone is questionable, anyone under 30 for that matter. I remember I was 30 or 35, I was still getting carded because that's the protocol.
That, but you're located in the Children's Museum, so a lot more children traffic, I'm assuming, that's coming through Mendy's.
Oh.
What's the percentage of, adults and children that come into your business?
Yes, well, we are going to serve anywhere we're going to plan to serve it dinner time. We're not going to serve it all day long. By 4 or sometimes 5 o'clock, if it's Sundays, the museum closed, the kids going to sleep, and then we'll start to serve dinner. We based on dinner. Lunch, it's so. So we're not planning to have a barman or somebody serve only at nighttime.
Let me just add, Rashida, to Nati's point that my wife, for example, is a teacher. and she's been there many times with her class. So the Children's Museum is geared towards younger children with teachers. So the children that are coming through there are not the 16-year-old or 17-year-old that are trying to, you know, pull a fast one. The museum is geared towards younger children.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashida. Are there any other questions from the committee or from the community? Again, the application is in the chat, so you could read the application and yes. Somebody have a question?
Yeah,
I
hello?
think that's the representative from KH
Okay, is this, are you
with
asking?
his hand up.
I don't,
Yes, yes.
I don't know why I don't see it, but yes.
Hello? Yeah, this is Mohammed from KHF Supermarket.
Right, so you have a question for Mendes or you're presenting?
No, I joined a little late. I'm sorry, I was stuck in traffic and
Not a problem. It's not a problem. You aren't late. You're perfectly on time. We're going to get to you in a few minutes. We're now just finishing with the first application. So,
okay.
Stephen, right? Stephen and Nati, this is the process is. At the end of this meeting, we're going to vote whether to give you a letter of recommendation. We do have quorum here tonight. Once we vote, our recommendation is brought to the full board and the full board votes. So the board, you're welcome to stay for the vote if you want. Or if not, the board will contact you tomorrow and let you know what the result is, what the results were. All right, I'm gonna go to the second application. I'm sorry, 1114 Nostrin, are you still here?
Hi, we're still here.
Thank you. You were here early. Let me just throw your application in the chat so people, I do want to say before Nati and Mendes leaves that we understand that during the pandemic, it was incredibly hard for small businesses. And we are grateful for all small businesses that stayed in our neighborhood and continued to service Crown Heights despite the difficulties. And we appreciate, all the businesses it takes to put safety first and are careful about mask wearing and social distancing and all the health recommendations. And again, we hope that soon this is going to be over and we'll be able to celebrate in either Mendes or in your establishment, or any of the establishments, and we could just, I don't know, in Judaism, you make a blessing of what happened in the past. It's called a blessing of Hagomel. Thanking God for the miracle that we survived and moving on. So we look forward to doing that in the near future.
Yeah, we're definitely hoping to endure.
All right. So yes, the floor is yours.
Liquor license.
Again?
This is just about renewing our liquor license. We've been here about 3 years now.
All right. You want to give the community a brief overview about what you sell in your store, what are your hours of operation, what time are you going to be selling alcohol, and what you're asking for tonight.
Liquor license, I believe, has been in action since 2016. We haven't had a single event on either 311 or through the precinct. We're just asking to keep operating Wednesday through Sundays. We're going to stop outside at 10. We're going to stop inside at midnight. We make the menu fresh every day, so I can't guarantee anything other than delicious food and drinks.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee or from the community? Let's start with the committee.
Just a sorry, go ahead. Sorry, just a comment. Thank you guys for housing the community fridge. That was a great service that you do.
Thank you so much. It was one of the biggest joys that we were able to do over this year, just like watch the community come together in such a monumental way.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee?
Yes, from Tessa.
Hey, Tessa.
Yes, Salem's Hour, is that the establishment across the street from Allen's Bakery?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, yeah. Now that Rashida mentioned it, yes, the community fridge is still out there. It's not broken into or stolen or anything, is it?
No,
No,
it's
right there.
open. It's right there. It's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. The idea isn't for it to be closed at any time. It's for anyone who is in need, and if there's food in there, they can access it at any time.
Yeah, I just had a sort of unrelated, lighthearted question. I was just wondering about the name Salem's Hour. Did you have some strange thinking about that? Were you in a gothic mood when you chose that name?
We inherited the name from the former owners. We didn't see a need to change it. It seemed to be popular with the community. So if it's not broken, or why fix it?
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a name that you chose. It was a name that was already there.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Are there any other questions from the committee or the community? Wait, first of all, again, thank you for coming. We will vote at the end of this meeting very shortly about whether to give you a letter of support, and then it will go before the full board after that.
Okay, no
Thank you.
problem. We'll be here till the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Gold Room here? Yes, is this Gold, is that, yes, are you Gold Room? Mia, do you know if Gold Room is here?
Hold on, Yakov, let me see.
Or we can move on, I mean, if we can move on to,
Yeah, you know what? Let me actually just, let me go back to the email. Let me see if the applicant had a cell phone listed, and I'll call.
all right.
Please
me a
do,
second.
because they're on the corner from me and I'd like to see them
Yeah,
continue to
they're
operate.
really good. They're really, really good. Give me a second. Let me go check. Hold on.
Go to K.
But they've been closed, for a while, so I don't know, maybe they're depressed and
Let's
broke.
hope, right? KHF Supermarket.
Yes, hello.
First of all, Mohammed, thank you for coming tonight. Please take a moment and give the board a quick rundown of your establishment and what you're looking to do here tonight.
Hi, we are a KHF supermarket. We are a grocery store. We have had our license since 1990 when we opened the store, and we are looking to renew our beer license. We do not sell liquor, and we have no outdoor dining or nothing like that.
What are your hours of operation?
From 8 a.m. to 12 a.m.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee?
No, if someone needs a, six-pack, they ought to be able to get one at the supermarket.
We also, Mohammed, we also want to thank you for, and we know it's a difficult time now with COVID and the pandemic. We appreciate all small businesses that are sticking around and servicing the community. So thank you for that.
Thank you. No problem.
All right. So,
Hey, Yakov, Gold Room is on the way in.
all right. So
He'll be connected momentarily.
no problem. As we wait, and any committee members want to suggest new business or something that we should be reviewing, this year or for the rest of the year?
Yes, Yakov, at the close, thank you. At the close of business, for 2020, Rashida Sadiq had suggested that we, or maybe you, liaison with some of the public safety chairs of maybe Board 3 in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Board 8 in Crown Heights, maybe 17, to see what initiatives they had come up with when there was a spike in violence. And I know you had asked our assistant manager, Mia Hilton, to do some outreach in that regard. Did that get shelved, or is it something, an initiative you hope to work on?
So we did start outreach, and there was some conversations, but with the pandemic and everything, a lot of things, happened. I did not follow up as I should have. I will continue to follow up on this, but I don't know if it was me or Khalid, but they did great work in reaching out to the various contacts, and we were going to follow up, and it did not happen yet.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah. I'd like to just, talk for a moment about the vaccine. I understand from our local elected officials that as of last week, there was not enough vaccines available for our community. The governor announced apparently that he's opening up a vaccination center in, I think, Medgar Evers. But I think one of the problems is with the vaccine that there's a serious lack of trust in government today, and especially during the pandemic. And if we want people to get vaccinated, I think that the way to go is really primary care physicians. The doctor should be giving the vaccines. People who community members trust their primary care physician, they trust their doctor. And I think that maybe we should take a position on this to encourage the state to make an effort to do more outreach with the primary care physicians in the neighborhood. Anybody have any thoughts?
Yes, Yakov, I totally agree with you, except that right now and forever, our mayor and our governor for the city and state of New York have been fighting like cats and dogs and having a major pissing contest. And today, one of the governor's representative actually insulted the mayor when he whined and complained about not having enough vaccine to meet demand in Queens at the tennis center, the Arthur Ashe Tennis Center. So I think it would be helpful to get to our elected officials to push it past large centers and and CVS and Rite Aid to our community doctors. But they since they don't have enough anyway, I don't know how far we can get with that as an initiative.
You're not optimistic because the mayor and the governor aren't working together and we have a shortage.
Yeah.
Well,
and those two have been fighting forever.
Well, there's 8 months to this administration, or 10 months. So election year.
Yeah. So things can change, but we've got to kind of get vaccinated before 2021 come to a close.
Right.
So it would be helpful for a couple of our elected officials to take that up as an Albany fight. Otherwise, I don't know.
I spoke to Assemblyman Richardson's office and Senator Myrie's office, and they are also, I know they've been working to try to bring more vaccines to the neighborhood and try to expand the vaccination sites to primary cares and other maybe I think urgent cares as well, where community members have a relationship with those centers and they're more likely to go and get vaccinated than at a local site that nobody knows.
I agree.
Before we vote, we have Gold Room is here. Also, it's a renewal. Gold Room, would you like to quickly introduce yourself and make your request to the committee?
Hello, everybody from the committee. Yes, my name is Akil Rossi from Gold Room BK here on 429 Rogers. It's the corner of Lefferts Avenue. Thank you for having me here at this meeting. And yes, we are up for renewal of our liquor license. Yeah.
Tell us your location, hours of operation. You said, yeah.
Oh, sure. So we are, again, on Rogers Avenue, the corner of Lefferts. Our hours of operation is Tuesday through Sunday. The weekdays, we open up at 3 p.m. and close, well, since the pandemic has started, we've closed at 11 p.m., or rather 10, sorry. We've had to close at 10 p.m. due to the governor's executive orders. But our liquor license, our request, I believe, is for 1 or 2 a.m. So that means that, after restrictions are lifted, we're looking to be able to be open up until 2 a.m. on the weekdays. And on the weekends, we have a great, delightful brunch service and also a dinner service. So on the weekends, we open up, or we hope to open up at 11 a.m. to customers, and to close at 4 a.m. on the weekends, which is Friday and Saturday. We'd be looking to close at 4 a.m. Or rather, our liquor license, we would like to have our liquor license till 4 a.m., but we actually intend to close at 3 because, you
That's
know,
your current, that's your current licenses, right?
Say that again?
It's a renewal for what you currently have, correct?
Yes.
Are there any questions from the committee?
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
Yes. So, Brother Rossi, thank you for showing up. I wouldn't have wanted you to miss this opportunity because then you'd have to wait till March. So, according to the gossip grapevine on the block, Brother Rossi, you were like playing music throughout the summer, you know, outside, some of which I liked, some of which I didn't.
Okay.
And not because it was too loud, but then, you know, I heard through the, you know, block gossip grapevine that something happened. I think you should tell us what that was.
So if you're referring to the SLA suspending our license.
Yes, I am.
Okay, yes. So that did happen. You know, I don't think it was because of the music, but what had started to happen was we were getting large crowds outside of our business. We had opened back up. This is when, you know, they had just sort of allowed people to do the outdoor dining. And we were looking for ways to come up with, you know, ways to make money. I mean, you know, that happened, I believe, in June is when he opened it up for outdoor dining. And so that means from March to June, we weren't making any money. We still had to pay rent. We still had expenses. We still had to pay staff. You know, our delivery and takeout business was sort of building, but that was never the brunt of our service. Most of what we did was really indoor dining and, you know, sort of using our atmosphere here on Rogers as a selling point to our guests. So in the summertime, as you mentioned, we were doing different events and let me not say events, we were doing different things to try to bring customers into the business. And that included inviting, you know, different groups, like we had a biker group, group of people who ride their bicycles, and they would stop by and everybody would be maybe, you know, I don't know, 50 riders or something like that. And they'd form a line and sort of order food, right? And that would be a way for us to make, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 for the day, where we would normally, you know, without them, maybe make $800 a day, right? You know, a restaurant cannot survive on $800 a day. So then we also started doing other things like karaoke and some stuff to just, we were, you know, I would call it desperate, right? You know, when you're looking at the closure of your business, right, you start to do things that maybe, you know, you shouldn't have, or maybe, you know, you're not thinking clearly because you're literally looking at the opportunity of your business closing, right? Or the threat rather of your business closing. So that did happen. The SLA did come. They gave us a suspension in which, you know, the day right after I complied, I spoke with their enforcement officer, Mr. Charles Stravali. I worked with them to get, you know, everything up to code, everything compliant to the SLA regulations. And we ended up paying a fine of $5,000 to the SLA at that time to get our license back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Brother Rossi, may I continue, Rabbi?
Of course, you have the floor.
Yeah. So, and Brother Rossi, so I also noticed that you had the enclosure where many other restaurants who endeavor to do outdoor dining also had, and you know, put up some very nice lights there. You know, I thought about taking it 1 or 2 times, but never mind. Strike that from the record. But I noticed that you never really served in that enclosure. Was there a reason why not? The enclosure on Rogers.
Yes. So by the time that we fully had it operational, with a roof and everything, it was nearing, it started to get cold, right? And then we we had to get the propane heaters, but the city says that you can't put the propane heaters in the street nor near any combustible elements. So that enclosure that's on Rogers is made of wood. So we couldn't even put it, within a close enough range there. In addition to make an investment into electrical heaters was something that I didn't feel comfortable in doing at the time, just because it was getting colder. It's snowing. We were seeing a decline in sales just because of weather. And so we didn't serve anybody in it specifically because, I just didn't, we ended up closing as well after the mayor, or sorry, after the governor, did the last executive order and shut down indoor dining. We ended up temporarily closing because we just didn't think that we could survive without indoor dining. So, if you haven't seen anyone in there at all, it's mostly because we haven't been open for the majority of the time that it's been built.
Yeah, that is true. I've noticed I haven't been hearing a peep squeak sound out of the go room, and you were doing it. It appeared to be incredible business, at least during the warm months, to at least even a couple of warm days in October.
Yeah.
Mia, are you here? Mia, are you there? Are you here? There, here. Public.
Go ahead.
You're at one of the meetings, right? Mia?
Sorry, Jakob, I just popped into Parks. They were given the information on the armory. I'm sorry.
Why did nothing show up on the police department or the FDNY about events out? Why is all this new information? None of it was on the report, or
What was on the report? What event?
that there was
At
some
which location?
that TRC lost their license for a while, and
But 71 wouldn't give that to us.
no, but it sounds like there was some sort of late night events outside or something. Is that am I understanding?
No, I think I know what you're talking about. I think
Not me. Wait,
I was listening briefly with the karaoke, and they received the suspension. That wouldn't come up under 71. SLA was supposed to report that if they did via email like they do everything else.
So
to alert us that someone has been subject to suspension in the district, and they did not.
Did we get that report?
No, but 71 wouldn't supply that. It would be the SLA to give that to us.
Maybe I misunderstood Tess. I thought there was some sort of events or late
No,
night.
Rabbi.
No.
Don't take it where it don't need to go. I just mentioned to Brother Rossi what the neighborhood gossip was. And he explained, and he was truthful in his explanation. Let's not get carried away now.
Tessa, you're satisfied?
I am perfectly satisfied. I just wanted to know if he would speak on it or lie about it, and he didn't lie about it.
So thank you so much for bringing it up. And so let me start. Do we have a, let's.
I had a question because actually, Tessa, I was actually going to bring up that as well. So I did hear the reasoning behind it, and this is Rashida Sadiq speaking. I've been to your establishment as well. I try to support all of the businesses and eat outside when I can. One of the things was that employees also did not have masks. So what are you going to be doing going forward to make sure that both your employees and the customers, well, I guess mainly what steps are you going to go forward implementing to make sure that this does not happen again? And I understand that you're desperate and you want to get the business, but we also are in a pandemic and we do have to, make sure we're protecting our community as well.
Absolutely. Immediately after our license was suspended, we had a training with our employees, all the employees at the time, and every employee that comes in going forward. We have a COVID-19 training in which we have policies and guidelines, a printout that I can also forward to the community board that has given. I have signatures from all of my employees acknowledging that they've received this training. Because again, the fear of losing a liquor license and potentially not getting it back, we kind of got into a very serious mode where we had that training. It was an emergency training on a Monday. We're never open on Mondays, so we had that emergency training, and we went over the guidelines, and we were very strict. We let employees know that your job is at risk if you're not wearing a mask and if you're not being COVID-19 compliant. And that was pretty much what happened thereafter. and we became very strict with customers as well. We've had to tell customers to sit. We've had to tell customers to wear masks. It became sort of a, I mean, it wasn't funny. It was just a thing we had to do that it was very serious. You know, when that type of thing happens to you as an establishment, you know, with a liquor license, you become sort of paranoid that they're going to come back. So, you know, I have I have some anxiety problems, and I was very fearful that they were going to come back. So we've trained our employees, and everyone knows that if you're not COVID-19 compliant, so to speak, then you will be fired.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from the community or from the committee? All right, great. So let's vote. Let's start with Mendy's. Do we have a motion regarding Mendy's restaurants?
Yes,
Shlomi, the motion is what?
motion is to approve a new beer,
Wine and
cider and wine license.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second by Tessa Hackett Vera,
Thank you very
Public
much.
Safety Committee member.
Thank you, Tessa. Rashida, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Yankee Pearson, how do you vote? Yankee Pearson, are you there?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. I vote yes for it.
I vote yes as well. So it's unanimous. Mazel tov to Mendy's. The Public Safety Committee voted to recommend that the full board supports your beer, wine, and cider license. Thank you very much. Mazel tov.
If I may say something,
Can you, hold on a second. You cannot say something yet. We're going to finish voting and then you could say something, all right?
okay, sorry, I got,
So
go ahead.
we have now a 1114 Nostrin. It's a renewal. Do we have a motion to either support, to provide a letter of support?
So moved. Tessa Hackett Vera,
Do we have a
Public
second?
Safety Committee member.
Tessa made the motion. Thank you. Do we have a second?
Rashida Sadiq, second the motion.
Thank you. Shlomi Hecht, how do you vote?
Yes,
Yaakov Pearson?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Again, unanimous. Let's give one more. We have also, we had KHF as well. We have a motion regarding KHF.
Is that the supermarket?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rashida.
Sadiq, I make a motion to recommend their approval for their liquor license.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Go Yankee.
Pearson.
Yes. I vote yes.
Pearson seconds. Shlomi Hecht, how do you vote?
yes,
Tessa?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So again, it's unanimous. So now this is the last. This is the Gold Room. Gold Room. Are you still here, Gold Room?
Yes, Brother Rossi's here. I can
Yes.
see him.
Brother Rossi, just before I bring this up for a vote, I just want to confirm that you are committed to both working with and following whatever regulations there are with regard to health and COVID, as well as you remain committed to being compliant with the state liquor authority's rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. We have a motion regarding Gold Room.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
yes,
Shlomi Hecht seconds. Rashida, how do you vote?
I'm voting yes, but I will be watching very closely. I live in the neighborhood and I really will make sure that you guys are compliant.
Thank you, Rashida. And you know what? We have now till the board meeting a few weeks, so please check it out and let us know by the board meeting.
Definitely will.
Thank you. Yaakov Pearson, how do you vote?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, Yaakov Pearson is, yeah, and Shlomi Hecht, you seconded it, right?
correct.
So I vote yes as well, so we're unanimous. Okay, before we close, there's an individual here that asked to speak. We'll give him the floor for a few moments to hear what he has to say, and then we'll close the meeting. You said it says Chaim Gold. Is that your name?
Right.
What's your name?
Yes, Chaim Golden.
How can we help you, Mr. Goldberg?
So I got this link from my friend and I just joined a few minutes ago. I don't exactly know what it's about, but I heard you were talking about a liquor license. And I wanted to say that I'm myself applying for a liquor license
Yes, so
on Albany Avenue.
Mr. Goldberg, you said your name is Mr. Goldberg?
Yes,
Okay, this is not, are you opening a liquor store or or is it a restaurant you're trying to open?
I know a liquor store.
So this is not the subject of this meeting.
Okay, fair enough.
All
Are you
right.
having another meeting about the liquor store or?
I don't know if we're gonna have another meeting, but I'm sure if we have a meeting about you, somebody will reach out and tell you about it.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Mr. Goldberg, is it common that you join meetings without knowing the subject, the topic, or the or the purpose, or is it something uncommon?
I joined it because I got the link saying something about a liquor license, and I was very curious to say, what do you have to say about a liquor license?
All right. So
And because I hear you're about to end the meeting, I said I have to understand what it's exactly about. So I say, I'm just gonna.
Mr. Goldberg, thank you for joining. And by the way, you're welcome to join future meetings. We encourage community participation. And I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and some great questions. And I'm going to close the meeting. Thank you all again for joining.
To sit here and say we haven't did anything, the parks department and BB.
Well, that's not, bye, everybody.